Ready for some time travel. Today's deep dive, well, it's practically launching us straight into 2182.
To the year 2182. Now that's a deep dive.
Exactly. We're diving headfirst into the world of Sofia aethona.
I've heard the name, haven't really.
Her music, it's next level. But it's not just the music, right? Her upcoming album, it's called, get this, Hilos de Despertar, Viaje más allá, which translates to...
Threads of Awakening. A journey beyond. Catchy, right?
Totally. And you guys, our listeners, you've sent in a ton of stuff, articles, liner notes, even some wild AI analysis on her. So clearly you want the full aethona download.
And that's what's so cool about this deep dive. It's not just about the music, is it? It's about identity, technology, ancient wisdom. It's like aethona's this living, breathing, or rather singing embodiment of it all.
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't quite boarded the spaceship to the future of music yet, who is Sofia aethona?
Picture this. You're listening to cutting-edge electronica, but then, bam, you get hit with the ancient echoes of the Patagonian Andes.
Wait, what? How does that even work?
That's Sofia aethona for you.
Yes.
She's one half of the Synthetic Sisters.
Synthetic Sisters.
It's a musical duo. She formed it with her sister 𝗧𝗓𝗓. But get this. Their dad was an AI entity named Echoflux, and their mom, a human musician.
Hold on, an AI dad and a human musician mom. Talk about a unique family reunion. But seriously, that background must have shaped her music in some crazy ways. This whole fusion of human and artificial intelligence, it's like birthing something totally new, something we haven't heard before.
It's all there in her music, that duality, that organic and synthetic blend. It's woven right into the sound. You've got your futuristic electronica, but then you've got Andean acoustic instruments and the mixed-pan flutes, trangos. Even the percussion has this soft, almost whispered quality.
And she sings in Spanish, right, which feels very intentional, like a conscious choice to connect back to her heritage, to the Patagonian Andes.
Absolutely. And this is where that AI analysis you sent gets really interesting. Linguistically, her use of Spanish isn't just about preserving her cultural heritage. There are these subtle shifts in her phrasing, her word choice, that suggest an AI influence in how she writes her lyrics.
Whoa, you're saying AI is subtly shaping her lyrics?
Subtle, but definitely there, like this hidden layer of complexity.
Okay, so we've got this fusion of musical styles, this potential AI influence, these deeply personal lyrics. No wonder everyone's calling her the voice of the 22nd century.
She's got that it factor, that's for sure.
But let's talk about Hilos de Despertar, this new album, Threads of Awakening. What's the core message she's exploring here?
It's about way more than just waking up, you know. In her liner notes, aethona talks about embracing this thing she calls the harmony paradox. Basically, it's where discord and unity can coexist.
So like finding balance in opposites.
Exactly. Like those differences, the things that we think might divide us, those can actually be what pushes us to grow and understand each other better.
Okay, I like where this is going. But how does this harmony paradox actually play out in her music?
So think of the album like a story, a narrative arc. The big theme is this awakening to a harmonious future, right? And each track dives into a different part of that journey, prompting us, the listeners, to really think about our own place in the world.
So like a musical choose-your-own-adventure through the future.
In a way, yeah. Is prompting us to ask some big questions about ourselves and the world around us.
I know we got a sneak peek at the 16 potential tracks for the album. Are there any that really stand out as embodying this whole harmony paradox thing?
Despertar, that's awakening in English, is a great example. Musically, you've got those futuristic electronic sounds, but then, boom, those ancient-sounding Andean instruments come in.
Okay, I'm picturing it. It's like a sonic clash that somehow works.
Totally. But it's the lyrics where the harmony paradox really hits you. It's a powerful metaphor for transformation. She uses this imagery of dawn, right? This moment where darkness transitions into light. It's like she's saying even in the darkest times, there's always this glimmer of hope, a chance for a fresh start.
It's a message that feels incredibly relevant, wouldn't you say? I mean, especially with everything going on in the world today.
Absolutely. And the liner notes actually go even deeper into the story behind Despertar. We're introduced to this young woman, also named Sofia, who's on this journey of self-discovery.
Okay, so like a parallel to the artist herself.
Exactly. And this Sofia, much like aethona, she's navigating this uncertain space between what is and what could be. There's this line in the liner notes that really captures it. The world she once knew now seemed vast, filled with possibilities. It's such a human feeling, don't you think? That sense of, like, anything is possible.
For sure, especially for our listeners. It's that feeling of excitement, that little bit of uncertainty you get when you embrace the unknown, but in a good way, you know?
And Aethona doesn't shy away from exploring the challenges of that journey either. In Hilos de nosotros, Threads of Us, she dives into the complexities of human connection.
That's one of the tracks that really got me. There's this beautiful blend of hope and melancholy in her voice. It feels very honest, very raw.
It is. And the instrumentation in Hilos de nosotros reflects that.
Yeah.
You've got these almost mournful Andean flutes, but then there's this persistent electronic beat woven in.
It's like those ancient and futuristic sounds are in conversation with each other.
Exactly, mirroring the message of the song itself.
Which is, because it feels like it's about way more than just like romantic love.
Right. She's exploring this idea of interconnectedness. The lyrics talk about how the bonds we form are stronger than fate's design, and how our lives are just these intertwined stories connected by these invisible threads.
Those invisible threads, it's like she's saying, even when we feel alone, we're still part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And liner notes for this one, they take that idea even further. There's a part where she talks about how each interaction, each glance, it's all woven together with these threads that bind our destinies together. And speaking of interconnectedness, this actually ties into something really fascinating from that TATANKA article you sent.
Oh yeah, what was TATANKA again?
It was that article, the one about AI, and, well, it argues that AI-generated art stuff like Sofia's music, it could revolutionize way more than just music or even art in general. We could be talking about education, social justice movements. It might even change how we understand consciousness itself.
Okay, now those are some bold claims. I'm definitely listening. Where do we even begin with all of that?
Let's start with education. Imagine instead of just reading about ancient Rome in a textbook.
Been there. Definitely wouldn't mind skipping that again.
Right. So instead, you put on a VR headset and boom, you're walking the streets, interacting with AI-generated citizens, experiencing the Colosseum firsthand.
Sign me up. Forget textbooks. Bring on the AI-powered field trips.
Exactly. And it's not just about recreating the past either. We could have students designing sustainable cities of the future alongside AI architects, or visualizing super complex scientific stuff through art, AI-generated art. The TATANKA article argued that this kind of immersive learning, way more engaging, especially for students who learn best visually or hands-on.
It does make you wonder, would I have actually enjoyed school if I had these kinds of tools? Textbooks definitely couldn't compete with video games back then.
Right. But it wasn't just about education. You mentioned social justice movements, too. How does AI art play into that?
Yeah, that connection wasn't super clear to me.
Think of it this way. Marginalized communities, they have incredibly important stories to share, right?
Absolutely.
But they haven't always had the platforms or the resources to share those stories on a global scale.
Right, to really make their voices heard. So is this where AI comes in?
Exactly. AI art can help bridge that gap. Imagine an indigenous community using AI to bring their oral histories to life in a virtual reality experience, or a group of activists using AI to create powerful images, graphics, even videos for their campaigns.
It's like giving a voice to the voiceless, using technology to amplify those stories that haven't been heard.
Right, and get this. The TATANKA article even talked about these AI programs that can translate and preserve endangered languages. Imagine using those programs to create art, music, educational experiences. The possibilities are endless.
That's incredible. Preserving languages through art, that's pretty amazing.
It is, and then it gets even wilder. Remember how TATANKA also touched on AI helping us understand consciousness?
Yeah, that one kind of threw me for a loop. It feels like a whole other level of complexity.
It is, and it ties directly back to aethona's music. Remember that whole harmony paradox idea, the tension between these seemingly opposite things? Like how we're all connected despite our differences?
Right, like finding unity in the chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, some researchers think that AI could actually help us understand these super complex concepts, like interconnectedness and even non-duality.
Okay, you're going to have to break down this non-duality thing for me.
Basically, it's this philosophical idea that's been around for ages, found in different spiritual traditions. It says that the separation we see between ourselves and everything else, between the observer and the observed, is an illusion.
So like deep down, we're all connected, all part of one big thing.
Exactly. And the TATANKA article doesn't shy away from how complex that is. But it suggests that AI, because it can process tons of data and find patterns, it could help us visualize or even simulate these ideas in ways our human brains haven't even imagined.
So not the AI itself is conscious, but more like it could be a tool to help us understand consciousness.
Exactly. And it emphasizes that we have to approach this carefully and ethically, But the very idea that we might be able to use AI to explore these big questions about the nature of reality and consciousness, that's incredibly exciting.
No kidding. It's mind-blowing when you think about it. We started with a futuristic musician, and now we're talking about using AI to unlock the secrets of consciousness. It makes you think.
It does. And it speaks to the power of art, like Sofia aethona's's music, to really push the boundaries of human imagination. It makes us think differently about ourselves and our place in the world.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, AI is totally changing music itself too, isn't it? Not just with AI-generated tunes like aethona's, but how it's actually made and listened to.
Totally. The TATANKA article touched on that too. It's not about replacing musicians, but giving them totally new tools to work with.
Like what are some of these AI music tools?
Imagine you're a songwriter and you hit a creative wall. With AI, you could analyze huge amounts of music data and have it generate unique chord progressions, melodies, even entire song sections to use as starting points.
So it's like having an AI songwriting buddy bouncing ideas back and forth.
Exactly. And then there's the production side. AI is being used to create these crazy, realistic virtual instruments that sound just like the real thing, or even invent completely new sounds that have never been heard before.
Wow, so instead of being limited to the instruments you have this endless sonic playground to explore.
Exactly. And for listeners, AI is changing how we experience music on a really personal level. Imagine listening to music that changes based on your mood. AI could analyze your listening habits, your heart rate, even your facial expressions to create a personalized soundtrack for your life.
Hold on, so if I'm feeling stressed, my AI DJ knows to play some chill aethona vibes instead of like futuristic speed metal.
Exactly, and it goes beyond just mood. Imagine playlists curated to your location, the time of day, even the weather. We're talking about an incredibly personalized and immersive listening experience.
It really is amazing how AI is changing things up for both musicians and music lovers. But with all this talk about algorithms and virtual instruments, it's kind of nice to remember that human creativity is still what makes music, well, music.
Absolutely. AI might be this crazy powerful tool, but at the end of the day, it's the human stuff, the emotions, the stories, those lived experiences that give music its soul. And Sofia aethona, she gets that. You can hear it in her music.
You can totally hear it. It's like she's found this incredible balance between going all in on the futuristic possibilities of AI while staying connected to her human heritage, her emotions, her own story.
And that brings us right back to those core themes of Hilos to Despertar, right? Those
Wow.
threads of awakening. It's not just about our own individual journeys. It's about humanity as a whole, waking up to this future where tech and human connection, they're not at odds.
It's funny, when you think about it, Aethona's own background, AI, father, human mother, it's like a reflection of this whole conversation we're having about AI and humanity. She's almost like a living, breathing example of that fusion, those threads of awakening coming together.
It's wild, isn't it? And that TATANKA article, remember how it talked about a harmony paradox? This delicate dance between things that seem like total opposites. Aethona's entire existence, her music, it's all embodying that paradox.
It really makes you wonder what we can learn from her, not just as individuals, but as a society. How do we navigate this whole evolving relationship between humanity and technology?
That's the million-dollar question, right? TATANKA seemed to suggest that a more holistic view is key. It's not about picking sides, humans versus machines, but figuring out how to bridge those worlds.
It's about weaving together those threads, technology, ancient wisdom, human connection, to create a future where everyone and everything can thrive.
Exactly. And honestly, maybe that's the ultimate message of Hilos to Despertar. Awakening isn't just about individual transformation, it's about collective evolution.
Right.
Recognizing that we're all interconnected, embracing our shared humanity, and stepping into a future where tech amplifies what makes us human, it doesn't erase it.
Wow. This deep dive has taken us on quite a ride. We started by unpacking the sonic layers of this futuristic artist and ended up pondering the nature of consciousness and the future of humanity.
And the amazing thing is how those threads are all connected. Sofia aethona's's music, the TATANKA article, even our conversation right now, it's all part of this exploration of what it means to be human in an age where technology is advancing faster than ever.
It's definitely a lot to process, but one thing's for sure, Sofia aethona, she's an artist to watch. The future of AI is bursting with potential, and we, as listeners, we have a role to play in shaping that future.
And as we figure out this whole relationship between humanity and technology, maybe aethona's's music can remind us of the power of harmony, connection, and that enduring human spirit.
What a beautiful thought to end on. And for our listeners, if this deep dive has piqued your curiosity, we encourage you to check out Sofia Tona's Hilos de Despertar, un viaje más allá. It just might awaken something within you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and keep diving deep.